So, imagine this. You're standing near Aswan, Egypt, right on the Nile, and you come across this temple, Kom Ombo. It's really quite unique, a twin temple.
Yeah, it's striking. Designed with its incredible symmetry. It's like a mirror image, really. One side for Sobek, the crocodile-headed god.
And the other for Horus, the falcon-headed one.
Exactly. And that symmetry runs through the whole thing. Two entrances, two halls running parallel, all decorated, leading to two separate sanctuaries.
And this isn't exactly new, right? We're talking Ptolemaic times, Roman
Oh,
time.
yeah, it goes back. Built to proud those periods. And, well, it's been through a lot over the centuries.
Like what?
Well, the Nile itself, ironically, flooding caused damage. Then you have earthquakes and just different groups, invaders passing through. It's weathered quite a storm.
When you visit Kom Ombo, I mean, the architecture, the history, it's all very impressive. But there's often something else that people really remember, something maybe a bit surprising.
You mean the crocodile mummies?
Exactly. After you've taken in the temple itself, seeing those ancient mummified crocodiles, it kind of gives you this jolt, this connection to the people back then, their beliefs.
It really does. It makes you pause and think about their customs.
And that leads us right to what we want to explore today, because right next to the temple, there's the Crocodile Mummy Museum.
Right. So we thought we'd delve into that museum, try to understand its story, its significance, especially for anyone fascinated by ancient Egypt.
Okay, so where do we start? Maybe with why crocodiles were so important there in the first place.
Sobek, the god.
Good place to start. Yeah, Sobek, this powerful crocodile-headed god. His role is key to understanding Kom Ombo.
He wasn't always a top-tier god, though, was he? More local at first?
Precisely. Initially, he was more significant around the Sumenu region, Thebes. But then, during the Middle Kingdom, things really shifted.
How so?
Well, his influence just grew massively, went from local deity to national importance. He even got merged, syncretized with the sun god Re.
Became Sobekri? Yes. A creator god believed to have come from the primordial waters. It's a big promotion.
That's quite an ascent. Okay, so how does that connect to Kom Ombo having this unusual dual dedication?
Well, the temple we see today is mostly Ptolemaic and Roman, but the idea of it having both Sobek and Horus honored in the same place, in the same precinct at Kom Ombo, that actually started earlier, back in the New Kingdom.
Ah, okay, so building temples for both there showed Sobek's importance was really enduring in that specific spot.
Exactly. It cemented his status there alongside Horus.
And the sheer number of crocodile mummies found right at Kom Ombo. That really highlights the connection, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Over 300 mummified crocodiles just found at that one site. It's pretty compelling evidence for how central crocodile worship was there.
It does make you wonder, though, why worship crocodiles? They're not exactly cuddly. I read someone suggesting maybe it was for protection, appeasing a dangerous power.
That's a very plausible idea. Reverence born out of fear and respect for their power.
But then, what happened if someone was attacked? How did they rationalize that?
That's a great question. It probably involved complex interpretations. Maybe they felt they'd angered Sobek somehow, or perhaps it was seen as a test, or even the work of some other conflicting force. The need for protection likely just reinforced the need to keep appeasing Sobek.
Right. Okay, so we have Sobek's importance, Kom Ombo's unique setup. Let's step into the Crocodile Mummy Museum itself. You can picture arriving, maybe like some travel writers describe, by Nile cruise boat at dusk, seeing the temple lit up.
Oh, absolutely. That would be quite an entrance. Very atmospheric. And then walking into that hall, the hypostyle hall, with all the pillars carved with Sobek, Horus, the pharaohs, it immediately tells you this is a deeply religious place.
But then you see the mummies, not just one or two. How were they usually found? What did they look like?
Often they were found inside these ceramic coffins, pottery coffins, sometimes with pots or other grave goods alongside them, suggesting offerings.
And mummifying animals wasn't just crocodiles, right? This was a wider practice.
Oh, definitely. Museums all over the world have collections of mummified cats, birds, ibis, you name it. It was quite common, especially in later periods.
And it seems like collecting these became a big thing in the, late 19th, early 20th centuries?
Yes, that's when many major collections were formed. Places like the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, the Musée des Confluences in Lyon in France, they have significant numbers.
But we don't always know where each one came from.
Often, the exact find spot, the provenance, is unknown for individual mummies collected back then. But it's widely believed that Kom Ombo and another site, Esna, were major sources for crocodile mummies specifically.
It's interesting. Ancient writers like Herodotus mentioned crocodile mummification, but actually studying the mummies themselves, the techniques, that's more recent.
That's right. For a long time, people were hesitant to, well, unwrap them or damage them. But now, with modern science, we have non-invasive ways, X-rays, CT scans.
So we can see inside without actually unwrapping them.
Exactly. We could look beneath the linen wraps, see bones, see if organs are present, all without causing damage. It's opened up a whole new way of studying them.
And what have these scans shown? Was there like a standard procedure for mummifying a crocodile?
Actually, no. That's one of the really interesting findings. There seems to have been quite a bit of variation.
Like what?
Well, some crocodiles were clearly eviscerated, their internal organs removed,
Hmm.
but others weren't. There's a Roman period one from Kom Ombo, now in Lyon. They CT scanned it.
Yeah.
All its internal organs were still there, just heavily coated and wrapped in linen, soaked in resin.
Huh. So completely different from removing the organs.
Totally different. Then you look at examples in the Cairo Museum, and they did remove the organs and filled the body cavity with resin.
Okay. Any other variations?
Yeah, the big crocodile from Kom Ombo that's in the British Museum, that one seems to have been partially eviscerated. They removed some organs from the upper body and then stuffed it with textiles.
Wow. And I think I read about one where they removed almost everything.
Yes, using a technique called synchrotron microtomography on another Kom Ombo specimen, it seems they did a complete evisceration, took out most of the muscles, even the skeleton, basically leaving just the skin and the skull to wrap.
That's incredible. Just the outer shell, essentially. It really spans a huge range of effort and technique. What about other sites? Did they find similar things elsewhere, like Kubat al-Hawa?
That's another interesting contrast. The crocodile mummies found there, also near Aswan, showed no signs of resin or bitumen being used at all.
Really? So how were they preserved?
Some were just wrapped in palm leaves and tied with ropes. It suggests maybe they relied more on natural drying, desiccation, and the desert heat. The fact that they're in different states of preservation also suggests maybe different burial times or conditions.
So location, time period, maybe even the specific workshop doing the mummifying could all play a role in the method used.
It certainly looks that way. Each mummy can be a little window into specific practices.
And sometimes those windows show amazing little details, right? Like that discovery in the mummy at the Birmingham Museum.
Oh, the fish hook. Yes, that was fascinating. A CT scan of a crocodile mummy, maybe 2,000 to 3,000 years old.
Revealed what?
An intact fish inside its stomach. And stuck in the fish, a bronze hook.
No way!
Yeah, it tells us something about ancient fishing techniques. And it also showed gastroliths, the stones crocodiles swallow. It seems this croc might have swallowed the fish, hook and all, maybe right before it died or was killed.
That's such a tangible link to everyday life back then. Fishing. And speaking of finding unexpected things inside crocodiles, the papyri story from Tip Tunis is amazing.
Oh, absolutely. That's a classic story in archaeology. These archaeologists were digging, looking for human mummies and texts relating to people.
And they just kept finding crocodiles.
Tons of them. Apparently they got quite frustrated. The story goes that one of the workers, maybe in exasperation, smashed one open.
And found papyrus inside.
Exactly. Stuffed inside as filling or padding. It turned out these discarded papyrus were an absolute treasure trove.
What kinds of things were on them?
All sorts. Contracts, wills, tax receipts, land registers, personal letters, even prayers. Things that give us incredible insight into the day-to-day lives of ordinary people in that region. Now mostly at UC Berkeley.
Incredible. So these crocodiles, mummified for religious reasons, ended up preserving this completely different kind of historical record.
A totally unexpected archive. It just
Yeah.
shows how much we can learn from these remains, often in ways the ancient Egyptians themselves never intended.
It really broadens the picture. It's not just about religion, it's social history, daily life. Now, I know science has also revealed things about the crocodiles themselves, the actual species, that mummy in Austria.
Ah, yes. The one thought to be from Kom Ombo, now in the Salzkammergut Natural History Museum. Analysis showed it wasn't the expected Nile crocodile, Crocodilus niloticus.
What was it then?
It was identified as Crocodilus sachus, the West African crocodile.
Okay, why is that significant?
Well, it suggests Sachus was definitely living in the Egyptian Nile back then, and maybe, just maybe, it was even the preferred species for mummification.
Why would they prefer it?
Crocodilus sachus is generally a bit smaller and considered less aggressive than the Nile crocodile. So, perhaps easier or safer to handle for religious purposes. It's interesting because it actually aligns with some ancient accounts, like Herodotus and later scientific work by Geoffrey Saint-Hilaire, who suspected there were different types of crocodiles in Egypt.
So maybe they knew the difference and chose the gentler giant.
It's possible.
Right.
We know hatchling mummies of sea suchus were found elsewhere, like Thebes. But whether the adult ones at Kom Ombo were local or brought in, that still needs more research, looking at more paleontological samples, bioarchaeology.
Right. And didn't one study suggest a mummy was hunted?
Yes, a forensic study on a smaller Kom Ombo mummy indicated it was likely hunted from the wild, not raised in captivity. So it adds another layer. Studying these animal mummies, it really gives us data points for understanding species distribution and how they reacted to environmental shifts way back when.
It really feels like the Crocodile Mummy Museum at Kom Ombo is this amazing crossroads. You've got history, intense religious belief, and cutting-edge science all coming together.
Absolutely. It's a place where all these threads connect. The mummified crocodiles themselves are this direct, physical link to the ancient Egyptians,
From their deep reverence for Sobek, which literally shaped the landscape with the temple.
to the incredibly varied, sometimes surprising, details of how they mummified these creatures, and even what species they were interacting with along the Nile. It's quite a story packed into those remains.
It really makes you think. These practices, like mummifying hundreds of crocodiles, might seem strange to us now, but looking closely, they unlock so much valuable knowledge about a whole civilization, their relationship with the natural world, their beliefs, their daily lives.
Yeah, it definitely invites you to look deeper into that whole intricate connection between humans and animals in ancient Egypt. There's always more to uncover.